Hey folks, Brother Sam here with Destiny by Design Lesson 20. Be the Part, Part 2. Now I want to start, we left off last week and we were talking about how to refine your vision and how to get to the heart of who you really are so that you can be authentic. And I'm going to share a few more things with you, and then we're going to do another part 3 to this. But anyhow, here we go. Another thing that you can do to help clarify your vision and to clarify who you really are, because sometimes some of us are not quite sure. One thing you can do is to volunteer in a good cause. Give some of your time and effort to a good cause. And now, in and of itself, that can be kind of its own reward. However, what you will also soon find if you do this is that every cause has challenges and problems. That's just how it is. Everything's got problems. Even there's a guy who said more money, more problems. You're just gonna have different problems, and but every good cause has its challenges and it's gonna have problems. And helping to overcome those challenges and problems will often help to refine your abilities and clarify your vision. I got started in life coaching mostly through volunteering for a men's prayer group that did street outreach to the addicts and the homeless. And I learned to spend more time listening than I did speaking. And in the process, I learned that I had a gift for understanding the underlying roots of the challenges people were facing. And it wasn't long before I found myself advising and consulting for people who were leaders in the church. So while what I was doing was a good cause, it helped to refine the gifts that I had. And I eventually became much better at that. So one thing that will help you to clarify your most authentic self is to give of your time and give of your effort and give of your skill. Because you're going to face different challenges by volunteering in something than you do in, let's say, your business or your ministry. Because in your ministry, you got particular goals. If you're volunteering in a cause, you're not the one setting the goals. You're not the one setting the agenda. In your own business, you can decide what the agenda is, and you can, well, I'm going to deal with this, and I'm not going to deal with that. But if you're volunteering in a cause, you have less control over what the agenda is, and therefore you're going to come across different challenges. And those challenges can be very helpful to you. Another thing you can do is to take on a side project without diverting your focus. Now, if you're a person who is very given to getting sidetracked, you need to watch yourself on this. And I recommend do this once you have a fair grasp on what your vision is. A great way that you can help grow yourself into the role of stewarding your own vision is to assist or partner in projects that are in some way related to your interests and values. Something that has some kind that it can't just be on any random thing. Let it be something that has some manner of relevance to your vision, some manner of relevance to the call of God on your life. Before I started conducting my own little events and stuff, I helped out with other people's events. Before I ever made any of my own videos, I was designing the covers for someone else's videos. Before I ever, launched my own ministry, I was, in the ministry I was helping out in, I was on the worship team, I was on the dance ministry, I was on the pastoral aid committee, I was an elder, I was basically the church janitor and the assistant to the deacons in just about everything they did. I'm not saying you got to be that busy. I had nothing to do, so so I try to make myself useful, and I grew thereby. Be useful, and along the way, I made some contacts. I picked up in some areas clients, and I grew my influence. Another thing you want to do is help someone with their vision. And it's not necessarily just for the sake of helping yourself. Sometimes you want to help somebody with their vision just because you can. Because remember, they've got different challenges. They have different problems. This will help you grow in your gifting. And even to this day, I occasionally do a free coaching session. I don't do it too much. And when I was doing coaching, that did help build my practice a little bit. But the true value in it is the new opportunities that it presents in helping to solve problems that I hadn't encountered before. So the question to ask here is, what can you do to help others with your vision, with their vision? Doesn't mean you got to commit a huge amount of time to it, but help somebody with their vision. A lot of us, we want somebody to help us, and we've never helped anybody. And conversely, there's some of us who have helped a lot of people, and nobody helps us. Sometimes that's how it is. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be like that forever. Another thing you can do to build your authenticity and to get to know who God has really called you to be is what I call faith it till you make it, not fake it till you make it. I have to say, I hate it when people say fake it till you make it, because words have power. And it seems to suggest that on some level we're being kind of dishonest, either with ourselves or with others. So something I want you to understand is you never have to fake a thing. Your most authentic self is your most powerful self. Yes, we ought to present ourselves well, and we don't have to wear our heart on our sleeve necessarily, especially when things aren't going too well. But we don't have to put on airs either. There is, as the Apostle Paul would put it in a more excellent way, you must thoroughly, utterly, undividedly, and with absolute determination believe in your vision. If you don't believe it, nobody else will. It's your belief, and this is why, because your belief in the vision God called you to is what's going to keep you going. If you don't believe it, completely believe your vision, at some point you're going to fail. It's that belief that's going to keep you going when you want to quit. It'll keep you going when it seems like you're getting nowhere, and half the people you think are your friends are laughing in their sleeves at you when they think you're failing. Your faith in your vision is going to be what's going to move you to take the risks that will eventually pay off. You also must become the voice of your vision. I'm going to say that again. You must become the voice of your vision. Somebody else can't speak for your vision. You have to be the spokesperson of your vision. And I must also say that you need to speak your vision well. Not just speak your vision, but you need to speak it well, as well as write it down. Even when I'm not working, I aim to encourage and inspire people everywhere that I go. Every time if I think I'm going to have a long conversation with somebody, I try to get to somehow steer that conversation to the topic of who they really could be. And I try to awaken them to the potential that maybe they don't even know they have. Just because. As the old saying goes, and I think it was E.W. Kenyon that said this, your faith will never rise above your confession. Or as I like to say, above your profession. You want to live the dream, well, start living it. Start walking it. Be the part. If you are indeed, let's say God called you to be some kind of motivational speaker, then guess what? Be motivational everywhere you go. If He's called you to be inspirational wherever you go. Be who God called you to be everywhere you go. And as you speak your vision, in time, your vision will speak through you. And inevitably, you will become the embodiment of your vision. You won't just believe it, but you'll begin to live by it. And this is a beautiful and necessary part of the process. Your words will affect your subconscious mind, or some people, what we call the spirit man. Science calls it the subconscious mind, but that's your spirit, that's your inner man. And this in turn will influence your conscious mind and your body. As you think, speak, and begin to embody your vision, your understanding of it is going to grow. It is nearly impossible to fully understand your own vision until it becomes a real and necessary part of your life. A great way to test this is to see if you can explain it to a little kid. Children tend to have very short attention spans. They get bored easily, and they usually need things to be explained very simply. As Einstein used to say, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Now, it's possible to believe in your vision, speak it, live by it, and somehow still fall short of success in implementing it. Part of this is due to not having learned to communicate the vision well. You need to be able to communicate it. That's part of being the part. Especially if your vision involves bringing other people together. How will you bring them together if you can't clearly define what that vision is? Now, in my early days, many years ago, when I was doing consulting for businesses, I went to meet a potential client. And I was all business. I didn't play. I didn't really do much small talk. I went for the throat, man. And after a very brief greeting, I went straight into my presentation. I made my points. I was very thorough. But in the end, I didn't get the deal I was after. Because quite frankly, he didn't like me. It's not enough to just communicate your vision. You must also be able to connect on a personal level, depending on what your vision is. Especially if you're in business and anything that is relational, you're going to have to be able to connect with people. And you have to be able to connect on a human level as well as if it's business, you must connect as a business equal. If they don't see you as your equal, you're going to have an uphill battle. But that's another subject. And this brings us to the next part of this, which is how to communicate you. And there's a whole lot of books that are written on nonverbal communication and people skills and all that. So for the purposes of our discussion, we're going to stick to those elements of business education, business communication rather. We're going to stick to those elements of business communication, which I found over the years to be most critical. And one of them is specific knowledge. You want to be authentic. You can't be authentic in your vision unless you have specific knowledge. Otherwise, you're going to just come across as a fake because you don't know what you're talking about. And we've covered this in other lessons. So, but to everything I've said already throughout this course, I want to add this: that success in any endeavor is always the product of a combination of specific knowledge, responsibility, and control. You must have specific knowledge, responsibility, and control. The more control you have, the more money you make. If we're talking about business. If you think I'm wrong about this, the kid working in the mailroom, he's an unpaid intern. Used to be the mailroom was like a entry-level position where you actually got paid a small salary. Now they call them interns and pay them nothing. Whereas the CEO, well, he's raking it in. It's part of the reason why they don't pay the guys at the bottom anything. So they can pay the guys at the top more. That's just how it is. And you're probably not going to be able to change that. Specific knowledge in your field and your ability to apply it in a way that is valuable is essential to deliver, not just delivering whatever service it is that you're offering if you're in business, but you also must be able to demonstrate in how you communicate. Don't just know your product or your industry, or if let's say you're called a ministry, don't just know how to preach or how to teach, but also know who you're dealing with. Who has God called you to? It behooves you to get to know the people that God has called you to. Maybe not necessarily at a personal level, but you do need to know who you're dealing with. If it's business, get to know the business problems and challenges they faced in order to be able to connect with them on a level that they not only understand, but appreciate. You do that, and this is going to change how you communicate with people. This is also going to change how you build rapport, how you build relationships, how you start relationships. And that's it for this module. We'll be back with lesson 21, and we're going to talk about the power of a genuine smile. Brother Sam signing out for now.